We need to build a wall, and it has to be built quickly.
Good morning. It is 9:06 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? I'm Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. We got Joan Jones in her own personal residence newsroom. It's a little bit less dusty, I've been told. We got Mason Fleming producing. We got the phone lines open for you all as well. 615-737-9986. A lot of the conversation today is going to focus around Iran, and another portion of the conversation is going to focus around the SAVE Act. Anybody else feel like Groundhog's Day? Does it feel like Groundhog's Day to you? I feel like I've been covering the same stories for, a month now? I know. We do have updates. We do have developments, so we'll add to the conversation. And Donald Trump yesterday in Ohio and in Kentucky making the rounds, and I like what he's doing. I think that this is important before midterms. To get out there and get that connection with people. It's when Trump is at his strongest, and he did just that yesterday. Kentucky was a little weird. He took some time to swipe at Thomas Massie, and I'll be honest with you, the crowd didn't seem too into it. We'll talk about that on the way. But first, as Donald Trump is gallivanting around the country yesterday, I mean, there was so many moments where he was speaking to the press. And, we played that clip from Jonathan Karl on ABC a couple days ago? Where Jonathan's like, never have we had a president that gives this much access to the media. And he said he's covered 5 presidents, and he's never seen anything like this. And Donald Trump proved it again yesterday. My favorite moment, though, and this is just me personally, you don't really learn anything here. But he's about to get on, Marine One, the helicopter, so he can go get on Air Force One, and then he's going to go to Ohio and Kentucky, and he's taking questions. This is earlier in the day. And there's an Iraqi reporter that's trying to ask him a question, but he's got a thick accent. So Donald Trump eventually leans over, and he looks at Caroline Levitt. He's like, what did he say? And Caroline Levitt goes, he said, death to America, death to Israel. And Trump's reaction is hilarious. The guy was asking, what are you going to do when the new leadership is still yelling death to America, death to Israel? But Trump didn't translate very well. This may be one of the funniest moments so far in this presidency.
In Iraqi parliament, few days, member slogan, death to America, death to Israel. What is your response to them? What is your message for Iraqi government? What did he say? In Iraqi parliament, slogan, date of America, date of Israel. Member of the parliament.
Death to America, death to Israel. What's your response?
That's not a nice question.
He said, he looks at Caroline Levitt, he goes, what did he say? And she goes, death to America, death to Israel. What's your response? He goes, that's not a nice question. And then he just moves on. That's not a nice question.
Israel, what's your response?
That's not a nice question.
So funny. I do it for the little things. Little things like this keep me going, especially when the news is Groundhog's Day and we're dealing with the same stories. What did he say? Death to America, death to Israel. That's not a nice question. Moving on. All right, so he was asked over and over again about the conflict in Iran. President Trump responded to a reporter asking him to tell the war plans against the Iranian regime and asking if he'll withdraw the U.S. from Iran, even if they don't seize the uranium. And President Trump said, "Guys, what are you asking me these questions for?" He's like, you know, I'm not going to answer that. This was President Trump before he got on Marine One yesterday.
U.S. from Iran, even if they have not turned over and allowed the U.S. to seize their remaining...
I'm not going to answer that, but we have hit them harder than virtually any country in history has been hit, and we're not finished yet.
We're not finished yet, although a couple times on the campaign trail, essentially, as he's in Kentucky and in Ohio, he did declare victory against Iran. We're not it's a weird messaging going on right now from the White House, to be perfectly honest with you. We're declaring victory, but we're also saying we're not finished. They said we weren't going to hang the mission accomplished banners, but it does feel like we're getting mission accomplished banners. And I don't know. Just the messaging just feels off. Several times yesterday he declared victory against Iran. Several times yesterday he said, we're not done. We got weeks to go. But this is before he got on the plane to go to Ohio and go to Kentucky. He toured a pharmaceutical manufacturing site in Cincinnati, saying we're way ahead of schedule in Iran. He was asked questions about Operation Epic Fury basically everywhere he went. But when he got to the Thermo Fisher Scientific plant in Cincinnati, Ohio, he was met by Governor Mike DeWine, the fake Republican that vetoed the transgender health care ban for minors. He met up with Mike DeWine. He met up with the company's chairman, the CEO, Mark Casper, vice president and president of Biopharma Services, Mike Schaaf. And everybody was just gleeful to have President Trump down there. It does look like what he's been able to do with reshoring our manufacturing in America is paying dividends at plants like this in Ohio. But the conversation wasn't really about the economy at all. The conversation consistently was about Iran. Everywhere he went, he was asked about Iran. And while he's at this pharmaceutical manufacturing plant in Ohio, he said he called what we're doing a little incursion. This is before he declares victory, but this is early in the day, and he says we're way ahead of schedule.
And we did a little excursion. We had to take this little few weeks of excursion, but it's been incredible. Our military is unbelievable, the job they're doing. I would say, to put it mildly, way ahead of schedule. We've knocked out their Navy, their military in all forms. We've knocked out just about everything there is, including their leadership. Twice. We knocked out twice their leadership, and now they have a new group coming up. Let's see what happens to them. But 47 bad years we suffered with them, not only us, the rest of the world. And we're doing our job. So we had to take an excursion, but it's doing well. The market's holding up well. I figured we'd be hit a little bit, but we were hit probably less than I thought.
Little incursion. The market's doing well. We got a hit. Oil prices going back up today. We'll talk about that. A couple oil tankers got hit overnight. This is a big story. On the leadership, we're hearing that Iran's new supreme leader, Mojtaba Khamenei, and you got to do the ha.
Nailed it.
Did you like that?
Yeah, that was pretty good.
I've been working on it in the mirror at home.
What does your wife think you're chanting?
I don't know. I'm more nervous. The kids like come in and then they start crying. They're like, "Dad's doing it again. He's speaking in tongues." I'm like, no. Just practicing my pronunciations. So I think he's yelling death to America. No, it's fine. It's fine. Mojtaba Khamenei. What I really do is I listen to I've been listening to Ilhan Omar speeches. And that has helped. I've gotten the ha down.
Changed the game completely for you.
It really has. I got one of her books on tape that she read.
I appreciate you doing the hard work for us.
You've read her book, right?
She had a book?
Yeah, How to Help Your Brother Gain Citizenship in 3 Easy Steps.
Ah, my bad. Yeah. It's on my reading list on Audible.
You have to. Oh, it's so good.
I listened to it with 1 bar volume.
Well, then all you're going to hear is the ha.
Well, that's all I need.
That's all you need.
That's all you need.
That's all anybody signs up for. So Iran's new supreme leader, Mojtaba Khamenei, he's going to issue his first message since appointment in a few minutes. In a few moments, his official Telegram channel has been saying, I haven't seen the first message. I've just seen headlines that the first message is going to come out. I heard Joan Jones in the newscast saying he might actually be in a coma, or as they pronounce it, a coma.
Did you spit on yourself?
No, I've been practicing. They're saying he's in a coma, right?
Yeah. Well, some reports say that. So the Daily Mail has both sides of it because, he released this statement today talking about, keep the Strait of Hormuz closed and we love our neighbors, which is crazy because they've been shelling them. But they did it through, it was a statement that was read on state TV by a newsreader. It wasn't him. So he's still absent. He still has not been seen by anyone. And
so it's the equivalent of a Coryn Jean-Pierre giving a statement from Biden. Is that what we're getting?
That's it. Yes.
Or in their case,
perfect.
it would be Coryn. Sorry. All right. So Donald Trump, we'll keep you posted on the updates from the new supreme leader. Should the message come out, and we'll have it for you here. Is he in a coma? Is he not? We'll see. They say the message will address the martyred leader of the revolution, the role and duties of the people, the armed forces, the executive bodies, the resistance front, as well as the countries of the region, and dealing with enemies. Sounds fun. We'll keep you posted on that. Donald Trump in Kentucky doing his whole rally thing, and I love the rally. I love the rally vibe. I love a good Trump rally. I think as we head towards the midterms, going and meeting the people firsthand, being where they are, that is important. We have to re-energize the base, and Donald Trump did his best to do that yesterday. But one of the big topics of conversation, the lead topic, top story, was the conflict in Iran.
An excursion. You know what an excursion is? We had to take a little trip to get rid of some evil, very evil people. It should have been done. For 47 years, they've been killing our people. 47 years. 47 years. And I can only say this. They were all prepared. They're very strong. They were going to try and take over the whole Middle East. They were going to knock out Israel. They don't know what the hell hit them, right? They don't know what hit them.
No, I mean, listen, it's been pretty successful, and we've seen the amount of missiles drop down by like 90%. Drones are the big threat now, but one of our biggest assets in this battle thus far has been Space Force, and it's amazing because do you remember in Trump 1.0 how they told him, you're insane. Nobody needs Space Force. This is a useless military branch. Why would you do this? You remember the fake news lining up to rail against the Space Force. Oh, he thinks he's in Star Wars. He thinks he's in Star Trek, and he's doing the Space Force thing. And it's like, yeah, actually, it has quickly become the most important branch of the military on the entire planet. And the Space Force has played a key role in this conflict with Iran. So once again, Donald Trump ahead of the curve. And you can argue that one of the reasons we haven't had more casualties, there hasn't been more death and destruction on our side of this battle, is because of the Space Force.
Space is the ultimate high ground, right? President Trump certainly knows this. It's why he created the Space Force during his first term. It's why he created the Artemis program, which is kind of on the peaceful civil side of space, which is my responsibility at NASA.
It's Jared Isaacman, NASA administrator, talking on Fox Business earlier this morning.
And that's America's moon rocket behind us right now. But you're absolutely spot on. The assets we have in space, the satellites that are there for observation, for communication, I mean, these are the capabilities that are identifying the rocket launches, that are communicating to our forces, and give America an extreme edge in this conflict.
What's that you say? We have an edge because of the military branch created by Donald Trump that the Democrats roasted him for? Oh, weird. What does the hat usually say? It says, "Oh, Trump was right again." Got it. And this is a news piece, Fox Business. But I'm not in the military, but I know people that are, and I've talked to several active duty guys high up in the chains that say, no, Space Force is as important as Donald Trump said it was, and without this, that's the new frontier. Without the Space Force, we're behind the curve. But because of it, we're leading the way. We got more on the way when it comes to Donald Trump speaking to the crowds in Kentucky. Also answering a bunch of questions from the press. He actually got into it a little tiny bit with Peter Doocy, which I thought was interesting. The Deuce pushed back against Donald Trump. He said, is it a war or is it an excursion? Because we're hearing the messaging that it's a war, but you're also messaging that it's an excursion. Which is it? It felt a little tense between the two. More tense than it's ever been. But Donald Trump answered the questions. We'll bring you that next. We'll also bring you more of the comments from that rally in Kentucky. Plus, the news of the day, two oil tankers reportedly attacked by Iranian boats with explosives overnight. We got the story and the video. If you're not watching us on Super Talk TV, make sure you join us over there. Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, and Rumble. Hit like, hit subscribe, share the show with your friends. We'll be back in minutes on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here for my friends at Better Water LLC. If you are tired of weird smells, stains, or just plain old bad tasting water at the house or the office, these are the people that you need to call. You could have some nasty stuff in your water. And it's not just the water you're drinking or washing your clothes in. You're bathing in this water. Your kids, your grandkids might be bathing in this water, and you have no idea what's in it. Call Better Water today. They'll test your water for free. And if you have any of the gross stuff, the sulfur, the iron, the chlorine, the bacteria, maybe even E. coli, Better Water can clean it up for you. Now, you might say, well, I'm on city water. I don't have anything to worry about. I've heard the horror stories. You might actually tell me, well, I got a well, so we're good to go. I would pump the brakes on that. Heard horror stories there as well. Here's the best part. Better Water will test your water for free. If you got nothing in there, they're going to give you a thumbs up, a high five, and they're going to be on their way. If you got the nasty stuff, they offer a range of options. Reverse osmosis, specialized filters, UV lights. Better Water has you covered. They're already doing this for the coffee shops and the hospitals around town, based in Smyrna. This is a local company, and they're going to clean up your water today. Call them. Say, please, test my water. 615-355-6063, 615-355-6063, or find them online, betterwater.com.
Hey, this is Pastor Al, and join us on Super Talk 99.7, Sunday evenings from 7 to 8. We're going to look at the news from a biblical perspective.
There's evidence that Iran is taking its fight against the world to the water and the cyber realm. That's coming up here at 9:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's Joan Jones in the newsroom. My name is Chris Hand. 927 Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? Show's brought to you by our friends at Better Water LLC. Yesterday, Donald Trump was everywhere. He went to Ohio, Cincinnati to be, particular. He went to Cincinnati. He was touring a pharma plant. He was there with the CEOs. He stopped to take questions from the press. And Trump and Ducey kind of seemed to get into it a little bit. The president was asked by Ducey, he says, you're calling this a war at times, but you're also saying it's an excursion. So which is it?
Excursion, and you said it is a war. So which one is it?
Well, it's both. It's both. It's an excursion that will keep us out of a war, and the war is going to be. For them it's a war. For us, it's turned out to be easier than we thought. But think of it: they had thousands of missiles, 8,000 missiles. We got many of them before they got to launch. They have drones all over the place. We got many now. We're knocking out the drone plants, as you know, going fast. They started talking about mines, so we hit 28 mine chips as of this moment, 28. Using the same weapon, the exact same weapon that we use against the drug dealers in the water. We have, as an example, we had tremendous drugs pouring in through the waters, through the sea, and now we have almost none. It's down 97% through water. Now we'll do it through land. The land is easier than water. But this is a great honor being here. It's a great.
And he kind of pivots out of the question, but he says it's both. It's a war and it's an excursion. It's a lot easier for us and a lot more devastating to Iran. They would classify it as a war, but we would classify it as an excursion. I'm getting text. I think it might be an anti-Trumper. He said it's excursion. It's incursion. It's actually incursion. I was like, oh, okay. He said his age is really catching up to him. I don't see that at all. The man is 79 years old now. He was answering questions nonstop yesterday to the press, every step of his journey. He answered questions in Ohio. He answered questions in D.C. before he left for Ohio. He then answered questions in Kentucky. He held a huge rally in Kentucky, and then he answered more questions to the press as he was leaving Kentucky. That's not a guy that I would think is losing a step because of his age. He seems like he's at the top of his game, and I'm not talking like the Democrat media did about Joe Biden, who was calling out to dead people and shaking hands with ghosts and allegedly pooping his pants while visiting the Pope.
Allegedly.
All I'm saying is he changed his pants. And that was not alleged. That was documented. We'll talk more about President Trump on the campaign trail, and we'll lay into the questions that he was asked. We'll also talk about those 2 oil tankers that were reportedly attacked by Iranian boats yesterday, and more on the way. 9:30 Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Good morning. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. Several sailing vessels have been struck in the past 24 hours in the Middle East. This is what Chris was just mentioning. The Wall Street Journal reports container ships were hit off the coast of Dubai and Iraq, and Bahrain reported a strike targeting its oil facilities. Michael Singh is a former senior director for Middle East Affairs on the National Security Council and now the managing director and senior fellow at the Washington Institute.
In a sense, they're in an equal position to the other states that are on the Strait of Hormuz, but they are clearly more willing to use force to shut the strait, to control the strait. And, that causes oil prices to go up. But frankly, Iran benefits from that because Iran is selling oil right now to China. It's shipped about 12 million barrels of oil through the strait while the strait has been closed to everybody else.
Meantime, Iran's new supreme leader's latest statement calls on the U.S. military to leave the Middle East as soon as possible. However, some reports say that Mojtaba Khamenei is in a coma in a Tehran hospital. There's news that Iran is striking back with cyber attacks on U.S. companies, and one of them is Stryker. It's a medical devices company. Thousands of employees at Stryker woke up yesterday to find their cell phones and laptops had been disabled, and the hackers displayed a logo of an Iranian-linked group, which also said the attack was in retaliation for the military strikes in Iran. And a lot of people complain about the switch between standard and daylight saving time. Now, State Representative Chris Todd, a Republican from Madison County, has introduced House Bill 1300. It eliminates daylight saving time in Tennessee. His proposal has the switch ending in 2027, but it remains to be seen how much support that measure gets. That is the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
So this dude's dog wanders into the shot. And who is this guy?
So this is Hassan Piker. He's a left-wing streamer. He's very radical, Muslim, friends with Mamdani, big Mamdani supporter. And, you know, this is just an insight to the kind of people they truly are at home. And he's on his live stream.
Yeah.
And as you said, his dog gets in the shot, won't sit down, which I understand. But at the same time, this dog is not getting in his way or anything. He is simply just circling, or as my wife would call it, nesting, trying to find that comfy spot.
Yeah.
So he shocks him.
Much more consequential violence, okay? It's the same reason as to why America, Kaya, please just f***ing go, just stop.
You know, kind of ironic this guy is
Oh,
talking
my
about
gosh.
violence.
Yeah, right.
While he shocks his dog. His dog's literally not even doing anything. He's just, as you said, he's circling in the background.
Yep.
epic fury. Is that a great name? Well, it's only good if you win. You know, you can only do. And we've won. Let me tell you, we've won.
That was President Trump yesterday in Kentucky, a state to the north of us. Campaign rally. I say campaign rally because I feel like he's doing this ahead of the midterms. That was kind of the game plan. We talked about this a few weeks back. Susie Wiles saying we're going to get him out there, and we're going to be doing more rallies to address the American people directly, not just on the war with Iran, but on things like affordability. And that was the main reason he was out there. They do want to address affordability. But how do you avoid the major news of the day, which is that battle that we have going on with Iran? So he says we've won. He says we've won. Now, the crowd just kind of patiently waits and listens. And I don't know if they were sure how to react. I think maybe they were waiting for like another shoe to drop. And with that, we're done. But he didn't exactly go there. But he did say we've won.
Is that a great name? Well, it's only good if you win. You know, you can only do. And we've won. Let me tell you, we've won. You know, you never like to say too early you won. We won. We won the bet. In the first hour, it was over. But we won. But they gave me a list of names of generals. Sir, you can pick the name you'd like, sir. I said, the name of what? The name of the attack on Iran, sir. And they gave me like 20 names. And I'm like falling asleep. I didn't like any of them. Then I see Epic Fury. I said, I like that name. I like that name.
So that was the president yesterday again in Kentucky, campaign rally discussing the operation in Iran, saying that we've won. Then he brought some receipts. He wasn't just saying it. He said, guys, with what we've been able to do, we knocked out their entire Navy, 54 ships. He said, air superiority, naval superiority. We've won this thing. Let's listen more to the president in Kentucky yesterday.
Come out so fast, I've never seen anything. Think of it. They knocked out 54 ships in 2 days, and they're real ships. In fact, I got angry at my people. I said, are they any good? Yeah, they're warships. I said, why the hell did we kill them? Why didn't we just capture them and use them in our Navy? They said they wouldn't have qualified for that. But I got a little upset with my people. I said, why do we have to knock them? And actually, one of my generals said, sir, it's a lot more fun doing it this way. But we knocked out 58 naval ships. We knocked out their Navy, okay? Let's put it that way. But they also knocked out the mine layers. They call them mine layers. They put mines.
We heard from the president saying 28 of the mine layers have been knocked out. It was. I think the tally was 16 yesterday. I mean, so they're putting in the work. They're saying victory is all but assured, and it's ours. Yet at the same time, we have conflict in the Strait of Hormuz. Just yesterday, we saw, what was it, two oil tankers get attacked. And, by Iranian boats. This is according to Reuters. If you're watching on Supertalk TV, I got one of those boats on fire on video on Supertalk TV, YouTube, and Rumble. But Reuters reported it. They said naval drones have been used in at least 2 attacks on oil tankers in the Gulf region since war erupted between the U.S., Israel, and Iran, according to maritime authorities and analysts, demonstrating a dangerous new threat in the key shipping lane. The emergency of explosive-laden unmanned surface vessels, which Ukraine has used with great effects in its war with Russia, comes as Iran threatens to block oil shipments from transiting the key Strait of Hormuz, the choke point for one-fifth of the world's oil. The first sea-based drone attack was March 1st when a crude oil tanker was hit about 44 nautical miles off Oman, killing 1 crew member, Britain's maritime agency said. Days later, small vessel struck the Bahamas-flagged crude oil tanker while anchored near Iraq's Khor al-Zubair port, according to U.S. representative. And now we have more footage coming out of last night with 2 being reported, by Reuters, attacked by Iranian boats and or drones with explosives. It was earlier in the day that President Trump confirmed that we will be releasing 400 million barrels of oil from strategic reserves in America. And I don't know, man. I don't know. I wonder what you think about releasing these strategic petroleum reserves. But this was President Trump talking about it.
It's a report that earlier today, the International Energy Agency agreed to coordinate the release of a record 400 million barrels of oil from various national petroleum reserves around the world, which will substantially reduce the oil prices as we end this threat to America and this threat to the world. We don't want to leave early, do we? We got to finish the job, right?
I mean, the messaging was weird yesterday. It was like, we won, but we can't leave yet. We got to finish the job. Well, how do you declare victory if the job isn't finished? We're also looking at what's happening in the Strait of Hormuz, and we're seeing the oil tankers get attacked. We're seeing our gas prices rise, and now they're releasing, millions of gallons of oil from the strategic reserves. 400 million barrels. Insane. He said it will substantially reduce the oil prices as we end this threat to America. This is also coming off the heels of Donald Trump's message to the oil tankers earlier that day, where he said they got to get tough and they got to go through the Strait of Hormuz. So earlier that morning, before those ships were attacked, President Trump, before going to Ohio, before going to Kentucky, had this to say to the oil tankers.
To use the Strait of Hormuz, I think they should. I think they should. I think they should use it. In my opinion, look, we took out just about all of their mine ships in one night. We're up to boat number 60. I didn't realize they had that big a Navy. I would say it was big and ineffective. But every one of their ships, just about all of their Navy is gone. It's bottom of the sea.
So he says they should go through. They should be brave. Well, now they're getting attacked, and now we're releasing oil reserves. Energy Secretary Chris Wright said Wednesday that the International Energy Agency unanimously, there we go, agreed to President Trump's request to coordinate the release of 400 million barrels of oils and refined products from its reserves. But this is while our reserves are already pretty depleted because of Joe Biden releasing barrels of oil as well. The global benchmark crude rose more than 8% yesterday. Trump authorized the Department of Energy to release 172 million barrels from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve beginning next week. Wright wrote in a statement, the oils will take about 120 days to deliver, according to Wright. The U.S. has arranged to more than replace these strategic reserves with approximately 200 barrels within the next year. 20% more barrels will be drawn down and at no cost to the taxpayer, Wright said. But the reality, Axios reports, is that the reserve sits at its lowest levels in decades. And as of, last week, it only held about 415 million barrels of oil. So is this the right move? Or should Americans just stay patient and wait until we see the Strait of Hormuz reopened? I don't know. I'm torn on this. It seems a bit risky given the state of the world, does it not? I mean, like, if this thing was to develop or devolve into more of a conflict with other countries getting involved, Iran, China, Russia versus America, Israel, we might need those strategic reserves. I don't know. It's like one of those things that we roasted Biden for doing. Biden did it because he wanted to get gas prices down before the midterms. So his goal was clearly political. But I could see the other side making the same argument today about Donald Trump, that the goal is clearly political. And maybe it is. Maybe it is. March 8th, crude oil prices hit triple digits for the first time since 2022, throwing the global market off balance. Then we saw Donald Trump threaten them and start taking out mine-sweeping boats. Prices came back down to around $80 a barrel. They're now back up to $90 a barrel, I heard at the last count earlier this morning. And that's because of the attacks that we're seeing and the fact that everybody's a bit skittish going through the Strait of Hormuz. So we'll see what happens. We also know that it's getting dicey in and around Israel. New York Post reporting that Hezbollah terrorists overwhelmed the Iron Dome yesterday, launching 100 rockets at Israel. Hezbollah terrorists in Lebanon launched on Wednesday 100 rockets at Israel, overloading the Iron Dome system, so much that only half were shot down, IDF forces exclusively told the Post. In response, the IDF is preparing a ground invasion into Lebanon. Lebanon. They won't be going to Tennessee.
Okay, I got nervous. That's where I live.
Not yet. Yeah, they would take over the In-N-Out first. Be their base of operations. But the attacks from Iran's proxy militant group and counter-assault from Israel mark a new front in the ongoing U.S.-Israeli joint military mission that we have been calling Operation Epic Fury. An IDF spokesperson said the IDF will not tolerate harm to Israeli citizens and will forcibly respond against any threat posed to the state of Israel. The incoming projectiles from Lebanon have put Israel's missile defense system to the test, with rockets not being taken out, and it's unclear what the damage has been in Israel or the scale of a possible Israeli ground operation in response. The Israeli Air Force is striking ready to launch projectile launchers and additional infrastructure sites belonging to Hezbollah terrorist organizations across Lebanon, according to a statement from the IDF. This is something that we'll be paying attention to. It's definitely going to change the equation of things should there be a ground invasion into Lebanon. President Trump, though, this is yesterday on the, I keep saying it's on the campaign trail, but it really is the rally in Kentucky. But before he got there, as he's leaving the White House, he did have a message for the people of Lebanon.
Hezbollah is making dangers for the Lebanese, and especially the Lebanese Christians. What is your message for Lebanon?
Well, we're working on it very hard. We love Lebanon. We love the people of Lebanon, and we're working very hard. We got to get rid of the Hezbollah. Has been a disaster for many years.
So that's the current state in the Middle East. Oil tankers being attacked, a ground invasion of Lebanon potentially being prepared, the Iron Dome being severely tested and at times overwhelmed. The drone threat is real, and nobody wants to go through the Strait of Hormuz. That's over there. Now we're going to talk about over here. Because over here, I don't know about you, and I've been saying it for a couple days, but it feels like this country's on edge. Everybody's head is on a swivel when it comes to Iranian sleeper cells. Are we going to have a terrorist attack in this country? What does it look like? We're also seeing hackers make their way into the digital battleground in America, and the FBI is warning California of a drone attack. We're going to break down all of these stories on the way. It's 9:50. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Did you see this? This guy is from India. He makes a rogue illegal U-turn and an SUV slams into the back of his truck, killing 3 people inside. The highways are littered with illegal alien truck drivers killing people. How do they get their licenses?
Well, he's in California. We are working with the federal government to extradite him back to Florida. He will face incredibly severe charges here, and then he will be deported. But I will tell you that where was the role of the company in all of this? I don't think this guy spoke English. He clearly didn't know what he was doing behind the wheel. And yes, you shouldn't be giving illegals driver's license. We don't allow that in Florida. California does. They've issued probably over 1 million licenses to illegals in recent years.
Democrats always say, if we could just save one life. Imagine how many lives we could save if we required all of the truck drivers out there to speak English and be citizens of America.
Up ahead, a warning on the West Coast regarding Iran and an armed carjacking on Dickerson Pike last night. We've got those stories coming up here at 10 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's Joan Jones in the newsroom. My name is Chris Hand. It's 56 minutes past the hour on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Me and Mason were chuckling. I've been arguing with a 67-year-old grandma on the text line. And I said, call in. And then she replied, you must be bored this morning to ask that. But have a great day. Got to move on with mine. I'm like, I'm not bored. I'm just like, if you have a different viewpoint, I want you to call into the show. I think I think conversation's important, and I like talking with people that aren't in the same echo chamber that I am. Sometimes I do feel like I'm in a bit of an echo chamber. So I like to hear others' points of view.
Yeah, prove me wrong.
Why not?
Change my mind.
A lot of people on the text line talking about the barrels of oil that are being removed. People are asking, did we ever refill what Biden removed from the strategic reserves? The short answer is no. No, it was never fully replaced. Some of it was put back. Some of it ended up not being sold. But between 2021 and 2023, the strategic reserve fell about 46%. So it fell by roughly 291 million barrels. About 45 million barrels were purchased back directly. Additional barrels were restored by canceling future planned sales. But as of today, before the release that Donald Trump is talking about, we have in our SPR about 415 million barrels, which is at 58%, just under 60% of its total capacity, lowest level in decades. Trump wants to release another 172 million barrels, which, I don't know, I'm just doing napkin math. We're at, 58% of it full with 415 million barrels is 58%. We release another 172 million barrels. What that put us? Around 30%? That, I don't know. We got to call balls and strikes on this. A texter said that. And I agree. We whined and yelled when Biden did it. We should be doing the same thing with Trump. The strategic reserve shouldn't just be used to lower prices. Is that fair? Am I wrong in thinking? Am I on an island thinking that? Like, it sucks that prices go up, but the strategic reserve is for an emergency. And I don't think that 50 cents extra a gallon qualifies as a national emergency where we need to release the strategic reserve. Is that fair? I feel like that's fair. Maybe I'm being too hard on it. But hey, that's just kind of my thought process. So we'll talk about that a little bit more. I'll take your phone calls too. I'd love to talk to you if you don't agree with me on anything. You go to the front of the line, 615-737-9986. On the way, the FBI warning of a drone threat from Iran in California. We'll talk about that. We'll also talk about the cyber attacks we're seeing. Mason Fleming broke the story to me via text message last night. Yeah, I heard Joan say it during her newscast, the cyber attacks. And I chirped in Mason's ear. I said, Mason, you scooped Joan on that story.
At least I didn't do it right before her newscast aired on.
It's true.
I'm just saying.
He did. He scooped you last night, Joan. Joan wasn't texting me at 11 o'clock about cyber attacks.
I'm sleeping.
Fair. We'll talk about that and more on the way. Right now, Joan Jones is standing by for the headlines. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Good morning, 10 o'clock. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. And the FBI issuing a warning to West Coast police departments about Iran.
The FBI alerted police departments in California that Iran wants to launch attack drones against the West Coast. The alert, reviewed by ABC News, cites recently acquired information that Iran aspires to conduct a surprise attack using drones from an unidentified vessel off the coast of the United States homeland, specifically against unspecified targets in California.
ABC's Aaron Katursky there. President Trump telling reporters yesterday he is aware, and officials are keeping an eye on those drones and sleeper cells. Oil prices on the rise overnight, now sitting near $92 a barrel for West Texas crude oil. If you're looking at the Brent crude oil, and that's what comes out of Iran this morning, it's over $100 a barrel. President Trump pledged to release 172 million barrels of oil from the U.S. Strategic Petroleum Reserve, and an international coalition also plans to release another 400 million barrels from its supplies. Experts say that could help to alleviate short-term concerns about prices. Meantime, attacks from Iran on the energy infrastructure continued overnight.
Flames engulfing one of the tankers. At least one person was reportedly killed and dozens more rescued. A cargo ship off the coast of Oman was also hit. A crew member killed. Iran claims the ship ignored warnings not to travel through the Strait of Hormuz. Iran now escalating attacks on oil infrastructure across the Gulf.
That's ABC's Marcus Moore. An armed carjacking overnight has landed the driver of a car in the hospital. WSMV4's Amber Giant says that 3 men attacked the driver of a car on Dickerson Pike, leaving that driver badly wounded.
Metro Police tell us officers found the man with gunshot wounds to his stomach and leg. Now, he was taken to the hospital, and police believe he is expected to be okay. Now, officers say the 3 men involved were wearing all black and had on ski masks.
And police are hoping they'll be able to identify the suspects using doorbell camera footage and license plate readers nearby. And you may remember the story of the transgender father who shot and killed 3 members of his own family at a Rhode Island hockey rink last month. He chose his son's hockey game to take fire on the family. Well, Colin Dorgan, that's the hockey-playing son, scored on a breakaway in double overtime last night to lift his high school team to victory and advance them into the Rhode Island Division II hockey finals.
My good buddy Cam just fed me a puck, and I just hear the crowd. But just to put it 5-hole, greatest moment of my life.
Colin and his teammates all wore the initials of his mother, brother, and grandfather on their jerseys last night. Lots of tears from spectators on both sides. That is the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
6 minutes past the hour on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? I'm Chris Hand. You can find me on Twitter, True Social, Instagram, TikTok, Blue Sky. Blue Sky just lost their CEO. We lost a good one. At ChrisHandOnAir. Every platform. At ChrisHandOnAir. Hit the follow button. I will follow back. I don't know if we actually lost a good one with Blue Sky. That was a joke.
Another one.
Another one. All right, so I'm reacting to your text in real time about the strategic petroleum reserves. You're free to call in, just so everybody knows, 615-737-9986. You can also text in. It's been a lot of texts coming in, and I got a good one here. So I had mentioned with the reserves, I don't necessarily think 50 cents a gallon qualifies as a national emergency, and maybe we just need to grit our teeth and bear it before we drain the reserves. 1067 texted in, and I said to him, fair point. I'll read this on the air. He said, Chris, you're only thinking about gasoline when you save 50 cents. A gallon of diesel fuel went up almost $2 a gallon in some states, and I drive all over the country burning diesel fuel trying to make a living. It has become an emergency to me. And I said, fair point, sir. I did not look at the diesel prices, but I actually saw the diesel prices rolling in this morning. I passed a gas station in Murfreesboro. It was like $2.99 for regular unleaded, but it was $4.58 for diesel. Which is insane.
Yeah, it was $3.33 when I drove past this morning.
It's absolutely going to ripple through the economy.
Yeah.
Everybody knows it. That being said, I still do, and I feel for you if you're driving diesel out there. We have a huge trucker audience, and I know it's cutting into the margins, and God bless you guys for doing what you do. That being said, if Trump drops the 172 million barrels, that he's talking about, that leaves us at about 34% full in the Strategic Petroleum Reserve. We use roughly 20 million barrels of petroleum per day. Gasoline, diesel, jet fuel, on down the line. So if they empty all those barrels out, the 172 million, that leaves us at about 243 million barrels in the Strategic Petroleum Reserves, which would only give us, and this is, just to be fair, this is current consumption rates, which in a national emergency, I don't know how much of that the government is going to give you and I, but let's say they just kept things flowing, it would give the country 12 days of oil. 1, 2, 12. I don't think that's enough. Do you think that's enough? I don't know. The Strategic Petroleum Reserve is not meant to power the country by itself. This is something that you need to know. But days of oil being left, I don't know, man. I don't know. It seems a bit of a mess. It does. And we have more threats other than just the gas prices that we need to worry about. The FBI warned California that Iran is aspiring to strike the California coast with drones. Now, maybe you remember a couple months back, there was drones over New Jersey. And could we stop any of the drones over New Jersey? Did we know where the drones over New Jersey were coming? No. Are we going to be able to stop drones coming into California? I don't know, man. It's a weird threat. How do you stop it? Where are they coming from? The FBI, this is from The Hill, the FBI recently warned California police departments of Iran potentially launching retaliatory attack on the West Coast, according to multiple outlets Wednesday. The agency's Joint Terrorism Task Force sent memos to police departments in late February that Iran allegedly aspired to conduct a surprise attack using unmanned aerial vehicles from an unidentified vessel off the coast of the United States homeland, specifically against unspecified targets in California in the event that the U.S. conducted strikes against Iran. So this is weeks ago when they warned them about this. We haven't seen anything yet. That doesn't mean we're not going to see anything, but we're not there today. I would also say that while they're saying it could be from a vessel off the coast, it could just as easily be from a rented apartment. You know, it could be from a shipping container. It could be from anywhere. It just could. These drones are cheap. They're small. And the ability to pack them with explosives is there. Like, I feel like any 18-year-old on the internet could figure out how to do that. Like it's low cost and super effective. An FBI spokesperson for the FBI field office in L.A. and another for the national office declined to comment when the Hill asked him about it, but a source with experience in counterterrorism told the Los Angeles Times that the threat has not been deemed credible at this time, and they urged that the warning was cautionary. The San Francisco Police Department said that they are always ready to respond to any emergency that may occur in San Francisco, as long as it's not poop on the street or needles. And they're closely monitoring events in the Middle East and around the world. Public Information Officer Paulina Henderson said to The Hill in a statement, "We're in communication working closely with our local, state, and federal partners." The Hill also reached out to the L.A. and San Diego police departments for comment. President Trump told reporters he was not worried about Iran escalating retaliatory attacks to include strikes on U.S. soil, Reuters reported. Governor Newsom said his office was aware of the FBI's warning, saying we're working collaboratively through the State Operations Center, which we established right after the war began, in a press conference, adding that his office was working with the Office of Emergency Services, but working locally to make sure that we transmit any information that we have received. So drones are a threat. Maybe it's not the biggest threat right now, but it's definitely a threat. Another threat that we are going to be facing, and we're currently facing, is the threat of cyber attacks. And this one, I don't know, man. This one makes the hair on the back of your neck stand up a little bit because of the implications. So there was a cyber attack at a company called Stryker where hackers claim system breach and device wipe. Mason texted me late last night with this. It's a global medical technology giant, Stryker. They experienced a severe cyber attack when Iranian-linked hackers used wiper malware to permanently erase data from its network. The breach severely impacted operations at Cork headquarters and compromised devices worldwide, prompting immediate investigations by internal cybersecurity teams and Microsoft engineers. The attack occurred on the 11th, and it caused severe IT disruptions through its worldwide medical technology operations. The breach primarily targeted the headquarters in Cork, Ireland, leaving thousands of employees completely unable to access critical systems. And we're learning from early investigations that it was state-sponsored actors using destructive malware to permanently erase corporate data rather than extort the company. So they're just saying, screw you guys, it's deleted. And I've heard that this company works really closely with FEMA, too.
Yeah.
So the ripple effects on this are big.
Oh, it's deleted. It's deleted. And like we have a backup, we have to restart. Everything is gone. They are back to ground zero, have to re-find a lot of the like discoveries and things they had saved over like years of data from like a fresh start. It's wild.
So they've lost everything.
Everything is gone.
So how does a company protect against this?
There are a bunch of different ways you could do. I looked up some stuff. I grokked it kind of because I was curious, and then I talked to my dad who works in IT a lot as well, and his recommendation was having separate like disconnected like off server stuff, like not big in the cloud stuff, where it's like either a physical place where you go, you upload a hard drive, upload the day's information, and then unplug it again at the end of the day, where it's like, okay, cool, it's not connected to any servers or any power that people can access like immediately from remotes. So it's harder to hack into, but you do have a data center that's kind of controlling all that info.
It's interesting too because you see these companies.
Let me read what my dad said real quick. So Stryker was a big Microsoft like server is what they used. They used Microsoft Intune to manage a lot of that stuff, and Microsoft doesn't hold a lot of backups very well on that stuff. And so he said it's basically having the hens guard the hen house was how they were approaching it, and that's not a key way to protect all your good data. But yeah, and then possibly having each team protect all their data themselves with a different secure net over everything makes it a little easier to secure. And again, I'm not a huge knowledge base on this. This is kind of just the little bit of research I've looked into, but having separate forms of storage for each section of the company is a lot harder to erase and a lot harder to take away all the information that's currently on there than if you're just got it all under one big umbrella, and then I can go Control-Alt-Delete and delete the mass storage that a company has.
Does this change the calculation for individuals using the clouds with their companies? Like using cloud services? Like at a certain point, you almost need your server physically located and offline.
Yeah, it's wild in an age of digital. We need to keep some form of physical.
And it seems like the companies are moving us more towards the cloud. Like there's less physical storage on these devices, more cloud storage.
Yeah.
And it seems like that's actually a recipe for disaster.
Because it just leads to the possibility of, like what just happened with Stryker, a mass deletion of everything because you put it all in one basket. And that's a terrible idea.
The hacking stuff scares me pretty big because, like, today it's Stryker. Tomorrow, is it Amtrak? And what are trains derailing? Do they hack into a boat and take out a bridge like the Francis Key Scott, like we saw in Baltimore? They haven't even built that one back.
No.
I mean, you see how slow it is to recover from these things. That the hacking capabilities, it's terrifying. Like, what happens if they hack into the electrical grid? You know?
Like, it could shut us down for months.
It's crazy. So the threat actors was a group called Hezbollah. Cybersecurity experts have linked the destructive incident at Stryker to Hezbollah, a pro-Palestinian hacktivist group strongly associated with the Iranian regime. This group is known for conducting politically motivated cyber warfare to cause economic disruption rather than executing traditional financially driven ransomware campaigns. Like, could a group like this get into the banking system and make everybody's checking account have a zero?
Or flood everybody's account with wild amount of money and drop the value of the dollar drastically.
If that happens, I'm going to make a withdrawal.
Yeah, I'm gonna store this real quick.
Oh yeah, I mean, dude, but you're right. Like, that could lead to insane hyperinflation.
Yeah,
wild.
Either way, it would topple.
During the attack on Stryker, the threat actors reportedly gained entry using administrative accounts and boldly defaced system login pages with their Hezbollah logo. You got to drop a logo. You can't just. It's like, it feels like a Batman villain, doesn't it? Like, I got to leave a clue. Why don't you just get away with it? No,
like old-time bank robbers would be like, hey, tell them the old money gang robbed this bank here.
Or like the wet bandits in Home Alone. It's like, it's our calling card. We got to do it. We joke, but this is actually pretty serious. The attackers deployed a sophisticated wiper malware designed to permanently delete data from targeted IT systems, rendering critical information unrecoverable. The destructive payload compromised both corporate servers and endpoint devices managed through internal networks, which is all that cloud computing, bringing the entire company to a standstill. They erased data on Intune managed devices, including work computers and personal smartphones with corporate profiles. So they got into people's smartphones too, which is insane. Then they completed an operational shutdown of servers and proprietary applications across the global network. They defaced the login screens and remote wiping of mobile devices linked to corporate email accounts. The cyber attacks have severely crippled Stryker's day-to-day operations and manufacturing capabilities across Europe, Asia, and the United States. In Ireland alone, the sudden outage affected over 5,500 employees, immediately halting product design and engineering activities at major technology hubs. Industry experts warn that the prolonged downtime of these facilities could significantly disrupt the global supply chain for essential medical devices and hospital equipment. The ripple effects on this are going to be huge.
Massive.
And then, I mean, how many times have we seen these hacking attacks where it's like a hospital gets shut down? And a lot of times that's for ransom. They're saying they don't even want ransom here. But then you'll see it at a hospital. And it's like, what do we do now? And like, luckily, there's always like the old school nurse. Like, let me show you how we used to do it.
Yeah.
But at some of these companies, there's no old school way to do it. They're just screwed.
Yeah.
I mean, these are the threats that we're facing. And to say that we're not facing threats, you're asleep at the wheel. The drone threat is real. The cyber threat is real. The sleeper cell threat is real as well, though Donald Trump yesterday said that they have their eyes on any sleeper cells that could be in America, and that the FBI and U.S. law enforcement is paying very, very close attention to that.
Iran sleeper cells there could be inside the U.S. right now.
I have been, and a lot of people came in through Biden with this stupid open border. But we know where most of them are. We've got our eye on all of them, I think.
Is it dozens?
They came in through the open border policies of Sleepy Joe Biden, one of the worst president in the history of our country. And we've got our eyes on all of them. But the war itself is being prosecuted at a level that nobody's seen before.
We have our eyes on the sleeper cells. Could we get our handcuffs on them, sir? Could we do that? That would be nice. Don't worry. We're watching them. Okay. I'd prefer silver bracelets and purple locks. I think that would be better. We're keeping an eye on them. Okay. I'll trust you. But it does seem like the country's on edge. Several different threats. Cyber, drones, sleeper cells. Feels like we're rolling dice, doesn't it? On the way, I got more comments from the president, and we got some comments from Iran. You know, Iran is, they're going full California. They're demanding reparations from the United States government. What? I'll talk about it when we get back. It's 10:22. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here for my friends at Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. And right now, your trusted home pros for total home comfort are giving you some major savings. Maybe you've been kicking the can down the road. Your AC went out at the end of last summer, and you're like, well, the heat still works. Well, we'll just figure it out when the warm temperatures get here. Well, don't let today fool you. The warm temperatures are starting to show back up again, and it's going to be hot before you know it. I can't believe we're already in March. Wait until we're already in June. You're going to be feeling it if you need that new HVAC unit, and Busy Bee is going to save you money. When you purchase a 16-SEER high-efficiency HVAC system, you can land some amazing TVA rebates, and Busy Bee is going to do all the paperwork for you. Their team will file everything. No hassle, no headaches. They'll also hook you up with a free Yeti Tundra 45 cooler. You can also get that cooler if you get a whole home repipe as well. And if you want even more savings, join the Beehive Club membership today. Keep your home humming year-round. Members get priority scheduling, discounted repairs, free annual HVAC and plumbing checks, plus extended warranties, and that peace of mind knowing your equipment is running the way it should be. It's the easiest way to save money, avoid breakdowns, and protect your home. Call my guys today. 615-775-7833. 615-775-7833. BusyBeeHVAC.com.
Coming up, we have some good news to tell you regarding the economy and some bad reviews that are taking a bite out of Buc-ee's. Those stories at 10:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's Joan Jones in the newsroom. My name is Chris Hand. The show's brought to you by Better Water LLC, and you can watch us on any platform you'd like. Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, Rumble. YouTube and Rumble are the big ones. The chat on YouTube, always jumping. Hail to the chat. Don't forget to hit subscribe while you're there. Help us grow the digital footprint of the radio station. It does help us long term, and if you like WTN and you want us to stand the test of time, that battleground is where we need you. Hit the subscribe button, please. So we were talking about the cyber threats, the hacks, what we saw going down with Stryker. And I got so many texts, and I feel embarrassed that I didn't even think of this myself. I do. But I got a lot of texts saying, what would NES do if they had a cyber attack?
Ooh.
Well, listen, they were prepared for ICE. So I think we'd be fine.
You sure about that?
Yeah. Yeah.
You sure about that?
Well, I think so.
You sure about that?
Not as much anymore.
Yeah, ooh.
I mean, these companies do need to be making contingency plans at this point.
Oh, for sure.
And I would almost argue if you're making a contingency plan at this point, you have failed your duties because that should have been made a long time ago.
Yeah, you've already dropped the ball.
100%. Yeah, that's a wild thought. Yeah, we'd be screwed. We'd be screwed, wouldn't we?
Yeah, it'd be a little nuts, a little chaotic.
It'd be bonfire season.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, no power for. It took us what, three weeks to get power back up in some people's houses?
Don't worry. I saw a crazy good hack.
Oh, yeah?
The lights go out, you pour a little bit of nail polish in a glass of water, and you can light the nail polish on fire, and it stays lit for hours. So,
Mom, send your complaints to Chris Hand, care of WTN.
I'm just letting you know.
Yeah.
I saw it was on an Instagram reel, Joan. It's not a bomb. It's a candle hack.
Yeah.
I just don't want anybody to be in the dark. I don't have any faith in NES. If you're an Iranian hacker, wouldn't you look at NES and be like, that's target number one, baby?
Oh, yeah.
Easy.
Yeah.
100%.
Easy.
7679 said, NES would say it's unprecedented.
We're prepared.
We were prepared until we weren't. All right, so there's a lot more to talk about. We got more comments from Donald Trump that we got to get to, and we're going to do just that. Iran demanding reparations. Donald Trump saying they're pretty much at the end of the line, yet we still have drone threats, cyber threats, sleeper cell threats. Is that what winning looks like? 615-737-9986. It's 10:30. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Good morning. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. And in a message relayed by a news reader on Iranian state TV today, the new Ayatollah of Iran declared the Strait of Hormuz closed, and he suggested that Iran is considering opening new fronts of the war, exploiting areas where the enemies, as he called them, have little experience. Here's ABC's Marcus Moore.
It's also notable when we talk about this statement that the Ayatollah, the new Ayatollah, did not appear on camera. We also have not heard his voice. He's reportedly been recovering at a hospital, according to sources, where he suffered injuries, according to those sources, to his legs. He was injured in the same airstrike that killed his father and other family members.
And some reports say he is in a coma. There is good news on the economy. The gap between what the United States imports and what it exports narrowed sharply in January, the most recent reporting month.
U.S. exports in January totaled just over $302 billion, nearly $16 billion more than in December. Meanwhile, imports were lower by $2.6 billion to $356 billion. A large part of the export figure came in sales of precious metals, reflecting the record high prices being paid here and abroad for gold.
That's ABC's Jim Ryan. You may love Buc-ee's, but apparently not everybody does. The Better Business Bureau has given the gas station chain an F rating over unresolved customer complaints. The BBB saying that Buc-ee's won't answer complaints that company forwards to them. There are 88 complaints filed against the business that have gone unanswered since 2019. The complaints concern poor customer service, overcharging, issues with returns and refunds, and difficulty contacting the company. No complaints about the bathrooms. That is the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here for my friends at Cover Nash. Sorry, I was looking up other stuff and I got completely distracted. But listen, if you're distracted at work all day and you need to find out how to save some money on health insurance, you don't need to do the research yourself. You need to call Shane Ring. Shane Ring can help you today. If you think that missing open enrollment means you can't get good health insurance, that is a myth that the big insurance companies want you to believe. You can get covered today, right now, no waiting, no gimmicks with Shane Ring and Cover Nash. Whether you missed open enrollment, you lost your job coverage, you're just sick of overpriced junk insurance, Cover Nash is here for you. They partner with over 75 top-rated insurance companies, including brand new nationwide PPO options with deductibles as low as $250, flat $50 doctor visits, ACA-compliant plans with free preventative care like colonoscopies. Not that you're excited about it, but at least you're not paying for it. Stop overpaying. Stop waiting. Stop thinking you're stuck. Cover Nash has plans for individuals, families, self-employed folks, even small businesses. Call Shane Ring today. He's going to get you hooked up. 615-465-0023. 615-465-0023. Health insurance on your terms, not the government's. CoverNash.com. .36 minutes past the hour. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? It's Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by our friends at Better Water LLC. You can listen to that show anywhere. iHeart, TuneIn, the FM dial. You can watch us as well. Super Talk TV's up and running on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, Rumble. We have all the video elements on Super Talk TV for all the audio that you hear on your radio. And an added bonus, you can go back and listen to it anytime. So if you miss something, you're about to get out of the car, and there's something you want to hear, it's up there, and you can watch it later in the day and then skip all the commercials if that's what you'd like to do. You're more than welcome to. We encourage you to hit the YouTube and the Rumble page and subscribe. Jason texted in with a heck of a callback. So an incident that I had completely forgotten about. Do you remember in 2021, the Colonial Pipeline ransomware attack? An American oil pipeline system that originates out of Houston, carries gasoline and jet fuel to the southeastern United States. It had a ransomware cyber attack that afflicted the computerized equipment managing the pipeline. The Colonial Pipeline halted all pipeline operations to contain the attack. It was overseen by the FBI, and they got out of it by paying the ransom. But the difference is that these new cyber attacks, what we're seeing with what happened to Stryker, is it's not for ransom. They're in it for the love of the game.
Yeah, it's just elimination at that point.
Which is scary. It's scary. So Jason texted that in. I was like, dude, I forgot about that. I was like knee deep in pandemic conspiracies. So, you know, who could blame me? But
it's right up your alley.
You know what I mean? Like I was more worried about vaccine passports at the time.
Yeah, that's fair.
Just to be perfectly honest, I was worried about being force injected in a FEMA camp. You know, who wasn't? Who wasn't? So I did some research. I was like, okay, what did they do? How are they making sure this doesn't happen again? I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. Nothing makes me confident that this won't happen again. Nothing makes me think that the systems are now invulnerable. These are the steps they took to make sure it never happens again. You ready? Mandatory cyber incident reporting. New cybersecurity rules, like 24/7 cybersecurity coordinators at pipeline companies, incident response plans for cyber attacks, regular security audits. Okay, that sounds good. Strong technical security standards, multi-factor authentication. Okay. Federal private sector coordination. So the federal government increased collaboration between energy companies and agencies like the U.S. Department of Energy, DHS, and the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency. These partnerships focus on sharing cyber threat intelligence and coordinating responses. And then they just had broader U.S. cybersecurity reforms, like stronger security standards for government software, improved breach reporting from contractors, and a creation of a new cybersecurity safety review board to investigate major attacks. But the bottom line is it's still very hackable. And this is just one pipeline. I mean, this could happen at any of these other companies. There's still human access points. There's still legacy infrastructure. There's still supply chain vulnerabilities. There's still the capability of the nation states like Iran or Russia or China. And the reality is that they hardened the system, but it's not foolproof. So the threat remains. It's just scary to think about, but let's start thinking about it now, so that way we're not taken by surprise should something like this happen. Meanwhile, the sleeper cell threat, we talked about this a little while ago. I'll play it for you again. Donald Trump says we got all of our eyes on the sleeper cells.
The Iran sleeper cells there could be inside the U.S. right now.
I have been, and a lot of people came in through Biden with this stupid open border. But we know where most of them are. We've got our eye on all of them, I think.
Is it dozens?
They came in through the open border policies of Sleepy Joe Biden.
This is where Trump pivots out and kind of blames Biden, which is fair. But Ducey's asking real questions that are just kind of being avoided there. Peter Ducey said, how many? Is it dozens? And Trump didn't answer that portion of the question. He said, we got our eyes on them. I would rather, again, have them in silver bracelets and being perp walked. If we have our eyes on them, why can't we go get them? Is that fair to ask? I think that's fair to ask. And I'm not trying to be, harping on the president, but if we know where they are, can we go get them? I'd like to go get them. President Trump also said that Iran is pretty much at the end of the line. Doesn't mean we're going to end it immediately, but he says that they're at the end of the line.
They're going to be in very good shape. You see what's happening. They are pretty much at the end of the line. Doesn't mean we're going to end it immediately, but they are. They've got no Navy. They've got no Air Force. They've got no anti-air traffic, anything. They have no systems of control. We're just riding free range over that country. And now we're going to look very strongly at the Straits. The Straits are in great shape. We've knocked out all of their boats.
So that's the president saying they're pretty much at the end of the line. We got rid of the Navy. We got rid of the Air Force. But the threats to America remain. The sleeper cells, the drones, the cyber threats. Says we're not going to end it immediately. They're pretty much at the end of the line. He also declared victory earlier in the day at the Kentucky rally. This was yesterday. Meanwhile, Iran now has a new supreme leader, and they're actually demanding reparations from the president. It's like, okay, who do you guys think you are? California? They say that they will refuse to stop fighting unless their demands are met, and they demand payment of reparations, acceptance of Iran's indisputable rights, and firm international obligation to prevent their aggression. None of this is going to happen. It's just not. Yet, here we are. People are saying that the new supreme leader is far more dangerous than his dad. Mojtaba Khomeini, more dangerous than his father. It's like The Godfather. We got Sonny.
It's the weird part too.
So, yeah. Iran's new supreme leader, the son of the former Iranian supreme leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, is described as being more dangerous, according to a report. A guy who previously studied a religious seminary with the son of the former Iranian supreme leader explained to the Jerusalem Post that he had previously stated if war breaks out, Mojtaba will try to control the region. Rahabi, whose father fought in the Iraq-Iran war and whose mother worked for a short time in the office of Mojtaba's father, also warned that he has a complete disregard for the value of human life, according to the outlet. The outlet noted that in a previous interview with The Atlantic, Rahabi stated that Mojtaba is obsessed with the end of days, saying that at the time he was very hypocritical. He says something, but inside him there is something totally different. He had recounted earlier telling Atlantic that his former study partner was obsessed with the end of days and had believed he himself will have a special part in hastening humanity down that path. 12er Shia belief holds that the 12th Imam, Muhammad al-Mahdi, who is believed to be in hiding, will return at the end times to establish a period of global justice in which oppression is eradicated, and that's what he's obsessed with. Good. That's good. That's good. So we got rid of one radical Iranian for a more radical Iranian. Got it. He's released a new message, and we're following that today. And the message has been released. CNN's been reporting on it, and we're following these news stories. He has broken his silence, and the statement said Iran will avenge the blood of its martyrs, including the victims of the March 1st attack on a girls' school in the city of Manab, which Iranian officials say killed at least 165 people. NPR has confirmed that the U.S. military is investigating how it could have targeted the school. A lot of people are saying it was failed intelligence. Some are pointing the finger at Israel on that failed intelligence. It's above my pay grade. Obviously, it was a mistake. The Iranian statement also said the Strait of Hormuz, a key shipping route for a fifth of the world's oil supply, is going to remain closed, saying the lever blocking the Strait of Hormuz must undoubtedly continue to be used. The statement said, according to an English version, published by the Tasnim news agency run by the Iranian Revolutionary Guard. It's unclear if the statement was actually from the son, Mojtaba Khomeini himself. Another person was heard reading the remarks on Iranian state media with a photo of Khomeini posted on the TV screen as it was broadcasted around the world. There's been speculation that he's not actually in good shape. Some are even saying that he could be in a coma. We don't know. We're figuring this thing out as it goes, and we'll keep you updated as we learn more. Iran has found an ally, North Korea. It's awesome. Awesome. Breitbart has the story. North Korea elbows into Iran conflict, pledging support for the supreme leader On Wednesday, they announced their support for Iran's new supreme leader and denounced what it called illegal attacks on Iran by the United States and Israel. North Korea's state-run Korean Central News Agency quoted a spokesperson for the Ministry of Foreign Affairs who said Pyongyang has respected the appointment of Khamenei to succeed his father, the supreme leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, who was killed at the beginning of the operation last week. Regarding the recent official announcement from the Iranian Assembly of Experts, they have elected a new leader of the Islamic Revolution. We respect the right and choice of the Iranian people to elect their supreme leader, the foreign ministry said. We express grave concern and strongly condemn the aggression of the United States and Israel, which, by launching unlawful military attacks against Iran, are undermining the foundations of regional peace, and security and increasing instability in the international landscape. The North Korean spokesperson said the U.S. and Israel effort to destroy the political system and territorial integrity of a country should be condemned and rejected by the entire world. Okay, got it. We'll go back to not caring what North Korea thinks about anything. President Trump said that the capability for Iran to rebuild is nearly impossible at this point, given the destruction that the United States has caused inside that country. This was last night as he was leaving Kentucky. The president was taking a bunch of questions, and this is what he thinks about the current capabilities of Iran.
Very good shape. The main thing is we have to win this thing, win it quickly, but win it. And there are many people, I'm just watching some of the news, most people say it's already been won. It's just a question of when. When do we stop? We don't want to let it regrow. And ideally would like to see somebody in there that knows what they're doing. In other words, they can build a country. Now, one other thing, we can hit sections of Tehran and other places that if you do it, it'll be almost impossible for them to rebuild their country. And we don't want that. But we can hit electric, we could take apart their electric capacity within 1 hour, and it would take them 25 years to rebuild it. So ideally, we're not going to be doing that. Thank you very much.
We could take out their electric capacity and set them back 25 years, says the president of the United States. You might think that sounds like a good idea given the cyber attacks, but I would just argue that they're probably waging those wars from outside the country at this point. So you're really just going to be harming the people. I actually credit the president for not taking out the electrical infrastructure. I mean, that would lead to widespread death and devastation. Nobody wants to see that. At the end of the day, we're in a war with the regime, not the people, and there are good Iranians there. There are some that are still chanting death to America, make no mistake about it. I'm still not rooting for death and starvation because we take out all their electrical capabilities. I think that sounds evil. And the fact that the United States hasn't done that, it gives me, hope that we're doing this for the right reasons, and we're not operating from an evil place. We're operating from a place of trying to keep the globe safe, and I think that's on full display here. We're going to talk more on the way. There was one point during that rally last night in Kentucky where President Trump brought up Thomas Massie. Now, they're in Massey's home state of Kentucky, and the president absolutely railed against him. I think he has pretty much every right to do so. Thomas Massie, I don't dislike him all the way. I think he does some good things. But the people in Kentucky, I don't think they were following the president's lead when it came to Thomas Massie. And we'll play the audio for you. But as he's railing against him, I mean, there's some claps, there's some cheers, but the crowd's kind of silent. I'd love to get your reaction on it. We'll play the clip on the other side. It's 10:51. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here for my friend Aaron Parker over at Parker Safes and Vaults. Gun owners, and anyone actually storing valuables, to be perfectly honest with you. Let me give you a quick piece of advice. You don't want to buy a safe because it's on sale. A lot of the safes that you're going to see at a big box store, they look super impressive, but that's because they're built for marketing. They're not built for real protection. If you want a safe that actually protects what matters, you need to call my friends at Parker Safes and Vaults in Shelbyville. They carry well-known brands. We're talking Liberty, Rhino Metals, but also high security safes from companies like Graph Under, American Security, ISM, Incas. They're going to protect your firearms, your precious metals, your cash, your passports, the photo albums. That's really the most important thing in the safe. Let's be perfectly honest. And Aaron Parker knows security, Air Force security veteran, and this is his family business. Aaron and his sons deliver and install every safe themselves, discreetly and professionally. They're based in Shelbyville, but they serve all of Nashville, all of Tennessee, all the surrounding areas. Find a video review for every safe they have in stock on their YouTube channel. You search for Parker Safes, or just give Aaron a call and talk to him. 931-842-6445. 931-842-6445. Parker Safes and Vaults. Real security, not marketing. ParkerSafes.com.
All right, drivers going westbound on 24 just past Haywood Lane. You've got the left lane blocked by a disabled vehicle. I drove by that on my way in, and it was dicey. It was real dicey. And there's a new message from the Ayatollah. We'll let you hear that coming up at 11 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Was it dicey because of it, or was it dicey because you were on 24?
Well, it was both.
Okay. Facts matter.
Yeah, the back of this pickup is sticking right out there in the left lane.
Jeez.
From the shoulder.
Crazy.
And the people behind you, they don't understand why you're slowing down.
Wild stuff.
Yeah. Good old 24, brother Chris.
It's Mad Max out there, dude.
It is.
Every day. Hey, real quick, if you happen to be a prayer warrior, we're going to call you to step up. There has been a shooting at Old Dominion University in the Commonwealth of Virginia. Massive police presence on the ground. The gunman is dead after injuring 2 people, and we ask you to step up and pray for their recovery. This is Fox News moments ago on the ground.
Yeah. And this is Old Dominion University. Police cars there you can see gathered. A gunman is dead after injuring 2 people at Old Dominion University, according to officials there at the school. A gunman opened fire in Constant Hall at about 10:50 a.m. East Coast time. And officials are saying 2 people were hurt as a result. We do not know what their conditions medically are right now. This is all the information we're getting in right now. And you're looking again.
So we'll keep you updated on that story as new details become available. In the meantime, please pray for those that were injured, and let's pray that it was just an injury and that this doesn't lead to death and that they have a quick, swift recovery. Again, we'll keep you updated on that story. I knew I said I was going to talk about Thomas Massey, but there's a couple other things I need to get to first that just they're more important. Moments ago, Caroline Leavitt, it's about 15 minutes ago, Caroline Leavitt issued a correction to the ABC reporting that there are drones that could be launched at the coast of California. Caroline Leavitt said that this post and this story should be immediately retracted by ABC News. She said that ABC is providing false information to intentionally alarm the American people. She said they wrote this based on one email that was sent to local law enforcement in California about a single unverified tip. The email even states the tip was based on unverified intelligence, yet ABC News left out this critical fact in their story. Why? And then she said, to be clear, no such threat from Iran to our homeland exists, and it never did. And then they actually have the FBI report. It says we recently acquired unverified information that as of early February 2026, Iran allegedly aspired to conduct a surprise attack using UAVs, unmanned aerial vehicles, drones, from an unidentified vessel off the coast of the United States homeland, specifically against unspecified targets in California in the event the U.S. conducted strikes against Iran. So Caroline Leavitt is saying that ABC needs to retract this story immediately. I don't know. I do think that there's a bit of a threat from drones. They're so cheap. They're so easy. Like there's absolutely, and it might not be from a boat off the coast. It could be from a radical Muslim's backyard. I mean, let's just be perfectly honest.
Yeah, maybe their patio on the second floor of an apartment building.
I mean, so to say that there's no threat from drones, I think that that's a bit misguided. But she's saying that this report that it could be coming from an unidentified vessel off the coast of California is false. She says no threat from Iran to our homeland exists. It never did. I like Caroline Leavitt a lot, but to say that there's no threat from Iran to our homeland right now, come on. I mean, come on. What are we doing here? We literally just detailed a cyber attack from an Iranian-backed group earlier in the show. Stryker, are they back up and running? No. Why? They were hacked by the Iranians. So, I mean, there are some threats. What's the scale of the threats? How lethal could these threats be? I mean, that's up for debate. But to say that there's no threat, I call BS on that. It's 11:01. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast coming up in 5 minutes. 2 people hurt after a gunman opened fire this morning inside Constant Hall there at Old Dominion University in Norfolk, Virginia. University officials say the shooter was killed at the scene. Operation Epic Fury update. Iran's new supreme leader, Ayatollah Mojtaba Khamenei, relayed a message on Iranian state TV today. The new Ayatollah didn't appear on camera, but his message was read aloud by a TV host alongside a picture of the Ayatollah and the Iranian flag. Here's ABC's Marcus Moore.
One of the things he said is that the Strait of Hormuz will remain closed, and he also suggested that they have considered and looked at opening other fronts of the war and exploiting areas where the enemies, as he's described them, have little experience. And he said that there would be areas that are vulnerable to them.
Here in Tennessee, a House subcommittee has advanced a sweeping gun bill that would expand where you can carry across the state. The measure, HB 2064, would allow guns in parks, greenways, and some federal recreation areas while also updating several firearm definitions in state law. It creates a new process for domestic violence offenders and stalkers seeking to restore their firearm rights after several years. The bill now moves to the full House Judiciary Committee. It would take effect July 1st if it becomes law. Tennessee regulators say they're growing concerned after finding more than 650 businesses they say were illegally selling hemp-derived products this year. The Alcoholic Beverage Commission says many of those stores were operating without the required license. The state began regulating hemp-derived cannabinoid products in January, including strict testing for THC levels and safety. Violators face fines up to $2,500 and nearly a year in jail. That's the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
11:06, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? It's Chris Hand. 11:07 now. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC. You can listen to the show anywhere. iHeart, TuneIn, the FM dial. You can watch this as well. Super Talk TV is up and running. Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, Rumble. YouTube and Rumble are the big ones. Hit the subscribe button. What are we at? We almost have 15,000 subscribers. I feel like we're getting close. We need to get the numbers up. We got rookie numbers.
Yeah, we're sitting at 14.4 right now. We should be at 14.8, if not 15 by now.
I can't stress enough how much it helps the radio station and us deliver better content to you by getting those numbers up. It really does. The high profile interviews take a lot more note when you have big time subscriber numbers. So if you're in the listening audience, please make a YouTube account and hit the subscribe button. It will help myself. It'll help Mandis. It'll help Murphy. It'll help Benson. It'll help Mason. It'll, how many times have we requested interviews from people like Jake Tapper, and we don't even get a call back?
No, I mean, you guys think Chris got his RFK interview with just as good charms?
Right.
Yes, but the YouTube stuff helps too.
It does. Well, all right. So there's some stuff to talk about. We'll get to the Massey stuff in the lightning round because I don't know. I don't want to. I was going to do that in one of the quick breaks before the news, but I wanted to give that update from Caroline Leavitt and also give a prayer request for the victims at Old Dominion University. I say victims. Right now they're just injured. We pray that there's no death. Other than the gunman, the absolute lunatic. I'm glad about that, but I'm praying for the victims at this time and hoping for a speedy recovery. I do want to talk about the SAVE Act, and this has been top of mind for weeks now. But Coryn yesterday released an op-ed. Senator John Coryn out of Texas released an op-ed piece in the New York Post where he came out in favor of the SAVE Act and, you get ready, in favor of reforming, a.k.a. nuking, the filibuster. Now, many people have made the comment, Coryn is just doing this for votes. He just wants the president's endorsement so that way he can defeat Ken Paxton in the Republican primary. And that may be the case. But if we can get this done before that Senate race, I say give the man the vote, give the man the endorsement, even though he has not been the best. This is what I do. I go through the comments, too. I read the article. I'm bringing the quotes. But a comment that stuck out to me on the New York Post article was from an account called Texas Mom. And Texas Mom is in the comments, and she's saying what I imagine many Texans are thinking. She said, Coryn has never been America first or Texas first, unless it's an election year. He has always obstructed Republican priorities for 6 terms, actively obstructed, for 6 terms, only speaking up in favor of them when he faces re-election. So I'd ask you, would it be worth it to get a lousy senator back in there like John Coryn if we can get the MAGA priorities across the finish line of the Save America Act? I'd wager yes. I would. As long as we can get it done before his re-election bid. This is what we're seeing from the article. And I got some quotes here. On his prior stance and the shift, John Coryn wrote, "For many years, I believed that if the U.S. Senate scrapped the filibuster, Texas and our nation would stand to lose more than we would gain. My fellow conservatives and I have proudly used the 60-vote threshold to protect the country from all sorts of bad ideas and dangerous policies. But when the reality on the ground changes, leaders must take stock and adapt." I went, oh, okay. He went on to say the old rules don't work and the adapting has to happen. He said, "I spent years defending the filibuster because the 60-vote threshold was a net benefit to Texas and our nation before moderate Democrats went extinct." That might be one of the best quotes in the article. Moderate Democrats went extinct. And it's so true. I mean, you look at the moderate Democrat that just got elected in the Commonwealth of Virginia, and the first thing that she does, very moderately, I might add, is raise everyone's taxes and then push gerrymandering, district rigging, and then she's pushing all sorts of new laws. They're even going for a gun ban if you are under 21, unless you're in the presence of an adult. in which case Virginia's law dictates an adult as someone who's over 18. So you can't have a gun if you're 20 unless you're with your 18-year-old buddy. Make it make sense. This is moderate Democrats. Where Coryn says the moderate Democrats went extinct. And he was supporting the filibuster before then. But the rules used to work. And they worked before the moderate Democrats went extinct. And he said, but as President Abraham Lincoln once warned Congress, the dogmas of the quiet past can become inadequate to the stormy present. The Democrats' recklessness and radicalism have changed the landscape. And on these critical issues at this critical hour, the old procedures no longer align with core American principles we must defend. He said, a rule is only a rule if both sides follow it. I believe that the Democrats, with their votes and statements, have already dealt the filibuster a fatal blow. The Senate rules will change eventually, whether the Republicans like it or not. And this is one of the things that I have been yelling about when it comes to nuking the filibuster. If you think for a second that these Democrats aren't going to get in there and do the exact same thing to pack the Supreme Court, make Puerto Rico and D.C. a state, you are lying only to yourself, my friends. The Democrats will do anything in their power to stay in power. And if they get their hands back on these levers of power again, well, they're not going to let it go. They're going to try and make it so that way the Democrats never lose another election. We are currently in a position today in Donald Trump's America where we can make it harder for a Democrat to ever win an election again. Why wouldn't we go as hard as humanly possible? Especially knowing what's on the other side of that coin. And now Coryn supports the rule change. Specifically, he says to pass the Save America Act. This is his key nuking justification here. He says, after careful consideration. Again, this is an opinion piece in the New York Post that John Coryn wrote yesterday. He said, after careful consideration, I support whatever changes to the Senate rules that may prove necessary for us to get the Save America Act and Homeland Security funding past the Democrats' obstruction through the Senate and on the president's desk for his signature. This could be a talking filibuster that removes the obstructionist free pass from making them defend their indefensible views on the Senate floor. Or it could be a different reform. Nuking. Process matters, he says, but outcomes matter more, and the Democrats' assault on election integrity and national security must be stopped. And he then went on to urge other Republicans to change their positions as well, saying, I respectfully urge the remaining handful of my Republican colleagues still holding on to the old position that I used to share to reassess the new reality and update their thinking. We should use the authority the voters have entrusted in us to pass the Save America Act, fund Homeland Security, and bring the far left's obstruction to an end. Whoa, John Coryn. John Coryn, ladies and gentlemen. Is he just doing it for votes? Probably. Yeah, probably. Does it matter if we get our goals and our agenda through? I don't think so. Would you take another 6 years of Rhino Senator John Coryn if it meant that we nuke the filibuster and get the America First priorities to the finish line? I say yay. I say why not? Now, later that day, after the op-ed comes out, John Coryn is asked about how he came to this justification, how it is that he changed his stance. And a reporter asked him specifically if he came out in favor of nuking the filibuster just to win President Trump's endorsement. And everybody knows that that's probably the reason. Name another reason. Where were you a few months ago, right? John Coryn snapped. He put his hand in the face of the camera. He gets visibly angry. This was John Coryn yesterday when that reporter asked him how he changed, how he came out in favor of this, and if he's just doing it for the endorsement.
You previously said that nuking the filibuster would be taking a wrecking ball to Senate rules. Is that no longer true?
I said I'd be open to reforms.
What would you say to those who say you just changed your mind to win the president's endorsement?
I'd say that's not true.
You also said that if leadership...
I think we're through. Go ahead. Go away.
Thank you.
he shooed her off. Did you see the shoe? He did the backhand up to the sky and the finger shoe.
Shoo. Get out.
All right, is that a good description if you're not watching on Super Talk TV?
Yeah, that's pretty accurate.
The shoo.
Move on.
He shooed her away. Everybody knows why John Coryn came out in favor of this. But I'm okay with it if we get the damn thing done, right? If the ends justify the means, then fine. I'm here for it. And it seems like this might be holding a bit of weight with John Thune, who is now in favor of the Save America Act.
I think we can all agree that if you have to show photo ID and prove where you live to get a library card, it's not too much to ask voters to show ID to vote in federal elections. It takes about 10 seconds and protects the security of our elections.
Make it hard to cheat, make it easy to vote. This is what we need to do. John Thune is continuing to drag his feet. John Thune, I'm not a huge fan of him. I'm not. I think there are many priorities that we need to get through, and the Democrats are just obstructing, whether it's because they don't want ICE at polling places. Why? I thought illegal aliens didn't vote. That's one of their big hang-ups for refunding DHS. We need assurances that ICE won't be at polling places. Why? Is it because you don't want your illegals to be scared to go vote? I mean, what? President Trump yesterday spent a lot of his time going hard on the Save America Act, pushing that as much as he could while he was in Kentucky at that rally. This was the president yesterday.
All voters must show voter ID. 98%. That's 98%. All voters must show a little thing called proof of citizenship in order to vote. Right? Right, Paul? Paul agrees. No mail-in ballots except for illness, disability, military, or travel. You're away. You can't get there. We'll be generous. And then I added 2 things. We call them best of. You know what they are? Best of Trump. These are the best of. No men in women's sports. 99%. That's 99. And no transgender mutilization surgery for our children. That's it. That's it.
80-20 issue, 90-10 issue. The American people support all of this overwhelmingly. Get it done. Get it across the finish line. Mike in Dixon wants to talk about the filibuster. What's up, Mike?
Hey, good morning, Chris. Thanks for taking the call. Hey, listen, I want to say this. I listened on TikTok yesterday to them having that discussion, and it was absolutely infuriating to listen to all that, especially the Democrats. And I just want to say this. If the people think that the Democrats will not do that, all you have to do is look at what's happening in the state of Virginia right now.
100%, Mike. You're absolutely right, man.
I lived there for almost 25 years, and I hate to see what's happening there right now.
Me and you both. I met my wife in the state of Virginia, and I remember telling her we bounced around quite a bit. We went to Detroit, we went to Pittsburgh for a while, and for years we were like, man, we could retire in the Commonwealth of Virginia, and that ship has sailed because of what's happened to that state.
Absolutely. Right now, like I said, my daughter is still there, and I wish I could get her out of there, but she's got to finish her college.
Yep.
She graduates in May, and hopefully I can get her out and get her to come down here. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, just entice her with the no state income tax. That usually makes a big difference, Mike.
I'm trying everything right now, but no, I just want to point that out. Just people just look and see what's happening in Virginia. If you don't think the Democrats will do that, look at Virginia.
Yep, 100%. Appreciate the call. We used to say that all the time. Virginia is Virginia is such a beautiful state. You got the ocean, you got the mountains, you got the proximity to all the events that happen in D.C. Like there's really a lot of beauty in the Commonwealth of Virginia, but the Democrats are just absolutely ruining the state. But that's Democrats for you. Like we expect that out of Democrats. We also expect our Republicans to push forward the agenda of the American people, the agenda that was given in with the election of Donald J. Trump. Yet we have Republicans still that act more like Democrats. Hey, let's hear from Lisa Murkowski out of Alaska.
Where do you stand on the Save America Act? Do you support getting this legislation passed to protect elections?
Not as it is drafted, no.
Why not?
The implementation in a rural state like Alaska is going to disenfranchise an extraordinary majority. And while I support citizenship voting and voting ID. I want to make sure that it's implementable.
And she walks away. I don't want to disenfranchise anybody. Well, I'm a little bit disenfranchised today. I'm disenfranchised that illegal aliens are voting in our elections. I'm disenfranchised that there are no systems other than the honor system in states like California and New York when they're registering. I'm disenfranchised. What about me? What about my disenfranchisement? Does that mean anything? No, it doesn't mean anything to Lisa Murkowski. Oh, okay. There are senators that are doing the work. Senator Tim Scott, he says he supports the talking filibuster to surge the Save America Act. I think we're going to find ourselves in a position where we just need to nuke it. President Trump says he wants the Senate GOP to go all the way and get it to his desk. It sounds like some of the older heads inside the Senate, guys like John Cornyn, whether they're coming around to win their primary or whether they're coming around for the benefit of America, I don't really care. But we need as much support behind this as we can. So salute to John Cornyn for doing what he's doing. Even if the motivation is purely selfish, the net result is going to be positive for the country. It's 11:23. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Oh, hello. I'm just playing a little sweep the straight, you know. Just figured I'd check in with you guys, see how you're doing. Did everybody hit subscribe? Did everybody hit like? I didn't see everybody's hand go up. You got to step up your game. We got to get those likes up. It's one thing to lose to Mandis, but if I'm losing to Brian Wilson, I'm very upset. I'm going to be very upset. Dang. I'll be honest with you guys. I have not gotten close to winning anything on Sweep the Straight. Absolutely nothing. Has anybody in the chat gotten close to beating Sweep the Straight? Anybody? Bueller? I don't know. I don't think there's any way to win. At least not for me. I'm not smart enough to figure it out. Others will be. Oop. All right, we're cooking. We were cooking. What's the chat saying? Is the chat saying anything? Oh, somebody said, haha, met Virginia in Virginia. What was that? Is that Cosmo? I did. Virginia's parents named her Virginia while they were living in Virginia. She's got some things to say about it. She said, very creative, mom and dad. Virginia from Virginia. Fun fact, they also, before she was born, I think they had a horse named Virginia. So, and then when we were going to have our second son, Bishop, I wanted to call him Theodore. I liked Theo and I liked Teddy. But Virginia said, absolutely not. My parents named me after a horse, and she had a horse growing up named Theo. She's like, we're not naming our kid after a horse. And I said, well, what do you think about Tennessee? She just shook her head. We landed on Bishop after that. And I'm landing on mines constantly. We got to rejoin radio. I'm never going to win this game. Hopefully, the U.S. military is more successful eliminating mines than I am. We'll see you on the radio side.
A campus shooting in Virginia, and the new Ayatollah of Iran has a message. These stories and more at 11:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
I heard it was similar to the other messages that we got before there was a new leader. It's just like death to America, death to Israel, I think.
Yeah, it's kind of like, the scripts that telemarketers read.
Yes. That's a good way to put it.
Only they don't end with, isn't that super?
It's true. It's true. All right, Ken Weaver's in the newsroom. Headlines on the way in less than 3 minutes. Mason Fleming's producing. I'm Chris Hand. Hey, how are you? Show's brought to you by Better Water, LLC. So the other day, Donald Trump is in Kentucky. He's doing his rally, and he decides to start roasting Gavin Newsom. Do you remember when Gavin Newsom said this?
I'm not trying to impress you. I'm just trying to impress upon you. I'm like you. I'm no better than you. I'm a 960 SAT guy. and I'm not trying to offend anyone, trying to act all there if you got 940. But literally a 960 SAT guy. I cannot, you've never seen me read a speech because I cannot read a speech.
Stunning and brave, everyone said. People pointed out that on his podcast, he interviewed on the Gavcast, he had a couple authors on there, and he was like, this book was so good, I read it in an hour and a half. So these are the statements. Donald Trump heard those statements, and he brought them up at his rally in Kentucky.
I want the President of the United States to have a cognitive deficiency. Okay. Right? And when he admitted this, I said, I think he just lost the Democrat nomination. What do I know? But you know what? I'm for everybody. But, when it comes to president, you got to be sharp. You got to be sharp as hell.
When you say you can't read on a national stage, it's probably not conducive to winning a national election, right? Now, President Trump says you can't have a president with a cognitive deficiency, but I think Democrats actually prefer that. We saw that once. Remember when we saw that movie? The sequel's never as good.
Never.
Shanga Kawawa. But no, when he said, I'm just like you, I can't read. It was like the Biden when he went, rich kids are just as smart as black kids. It's like, whoa, what did you say? What? It's 11:30. Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
$11:30 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Full forecast coming up in 5 minutes. Old Dominion University there in Virginia closed for the day after police say 2 people were injured when a gunman opened fire on campus this morning in Constant Hall. Police say the gunman is dead. Operation Epic Fury update. The new Ayatollah of Iran says the Strait of Hormuz will stay closed and suggested that they have considered and are looking at opening other fronts of the war. ABC's Marcus Moore says the message was read aloud on state TV.
It's also notable when we talk about this statement that the Ayatollah, the new Ayatollah, did not appear on camera. We also have not heard his voice. He's reportedly been recovering at a hospital, according to sources, where he suffered injuries, according to those sources, to his legs. He was injured in the same airstrike that killed his father and other family members.
Meanwhile, Aaron Kontursky updates reports that law enforcement out west was warned by the FBI about Iran attacking California with drones.
Law enforcement officials say there are no imminent threats, and after 13 days of U.S. and Israeli bombardment, law enforcement sources tell us it's unlikely Iran possesses the capability to successfully launch such an attack.
Well, White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt just an hour ago posted ABC News should immediately retract their story because she says the email sent to local law enforcement in California is about a single, quote, unverified tip, which she says ABC News omitted. She says no such threat from Iran to the homeland exists, and it never did. At the State House here in Tennessee, a push to expand insurance coverage for biomarker testing hit a delay this week. The Senate Commerce and Labor Committee ran out of time before hearing the bill, leaving patients and advocates waiting in the hallway. Supporters like Beth Madison of Jackson, who was diagnosed with breast cancer, say the testing helps doctors tailor cancer treatments, but many patients can't afford it without coverage. Here's what she told News 2.
These diseases, and especially cancer, move so fast that if it had not been for good treatment early on, very aggressive treatment, I probably would not be able to even stand up and give you an interview today.
Well, News 2 says this bill will be heard at a later date. If approved, the requirement would not take effect until next year. That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here for my friends at the Wellness Institute of Nashville. I got some questions for you. Why are you still living with pain? I mean, honestly, if you're dealing with back pain, neck pain, sciatica, herniated or bulging discs, spinal stenosis, numbness, weakness in your arms, legs, fingers, or toes, you don't have to live that way. And one phone call could absolutely change your life. That phone call is to the Wellness Institute of Nashville. And right now, they're offering 47% off their non-surgical spinal decompression. This is as advanced as it gets. And with the 47% off, you are saving some big money. Now, on top of that, they offer other things, too. Not just basic therapy. We're talking robotic lasers, anti-gravity machines, cryotherapy, and the brand new HydroWave technology that stimulates your own stem cells for healing at the cellular level. This is the only office in Tennessee with the HydroWave. That device is unbelievable. And again, you're only going to find it at the Wellness Institute of Nashville. What you won't find there? Opioids, injections, surgery. That's not their style. This is why Dr. Mitchell needs to be your doctor. Bring your MRI. They'll take x-rays if needed. He'll walk you through exactly what's happening and give you a real treatment plan to fix the problem at its root cause, not just mask it. Start a pain-free life. It's within reach. It is absolutely possible. It starts with a phone call. 615-246-5009, 615-246-5009, or find them online at painisbad.com. That's painisbad.com. 36 minutes past the hour on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? I'm Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by our friends at Better Water LLC. You can listen to us anywhere, iHeart, tune in the FM dial. You can watch us, Super Talk TV. I got a text here. Some guy said, I didn't realize subscribing to YouTube was free. I know. It's a weird word that they use, right? It makes it seem like you have to pay to watch us on Super Talk TV. You don't. It's totally free. You just click the subscribe button, and that's it. There's no credit card numbers. It's not YouTube TV. So just hit the subscribe button. And then you get us on your main page. It's just easy.
Yeah, it makes it easier to find our stuff, especially when we go live for storms, when we update on breaking news on the weekends and stuff like that. It helps you get the little notifications.
Yeah. I'm also, I don't know, there's some Van Gogh listeners. I'm being accused of being Tucker Carlson. Somebody said, Tucker, this is all today. Tucker Light, Diet Tucker, Tucker Wannabe. How about you take Megyn Kelly's route and talk about Don Lemon, The View, and Jasmine Crockett?
I was like, maybe you're just pretending to be dumb. Now I don't think it's an act.
What? I was like, what? What are you talking about? What did I say?
That's the only Tucker audio I have.
Well, I just don't understand what they mean.
Yeah, I don't know.
Also, like, can we stop the stupid conservative infighting? Like, it's ridiculous. All of these people agree on like 99% of things. And then they're just going to throw away everything else over 1% of the argument.
It's so minuscule.
You know what I mean? Like I've tried not to get into like the all this stupid little beefs with like Megyn Kelly versus Shapiro versus Tucker versus insert whoever. Like I don't really care. Like even like I've said it before. Ben Shapiro's a super smart guy. Mark Levin, super smart guy. I don't really listen to their shows. It's not really my style, and I don't, it's not like a personal attack against them. I don't really listen to them. I think Levin I have personally attacked. For that, I apologize.
In passing.
But it's because he yells a lot. But anyway, like the styles aren't really mine, but like we agree on 95% of the things. So it's okay. You see the text from 4460? I can't read it on the air.
Oh.
We could probably agree on that, though, 4460.
Probably.
It's a statement about Lindsey Graham. It wasn't the nicest statement. Lindsey Graham loves war, though.
She's kind of a fiend for it.
Yep. Also, there's a difference between being hard on your elected representatives and maybe poor choice of words with Lindsey Graham, and then being hard on the influencer media class. Like, these two things are not the same. I think everybody agrees on that. All right, enough about that. You know what time it is? It's time for the lightning round.
It's the lightning round with Chris Hand.
We do it every day at this time. All the stories that we wanted to get to that we didn't have time to get to, stories that might not fill a whole segment, random news of the day, and we like to call it the lightning round. You know, the lightning round's catching steam. I don't know if you knew this. We might have a pretty big name sponsor joining the lightning round here soon. I know.
I'm here for it.
So they told me, they said, don't do anything outlandish. We don't want to ruin it. And I said, have you listened to the lightning round?
Have you? Hold on.
You're aware of what we do here, right? So, first story in the lightning round. This one, I'm a little bit shocked that this is a story because it's just idiotic. Pete Hegseth is under fire for spending millions of dollars on lobster tail and ribeye and ice cream machines. And people are going on CNN and trying to make the case that Pete Hegseth himself is eating millions of dollars worth of ribeye and lobster tails. And
okay, there are two options for this. He's either eating a lot of different types of meats, or he's eating like one or two that are worth $500,000 each.
That's true.
It's the most expensive surf and turf either way.
Can I be honest? I wouldn't be mad at him either way.
No, me neither.
Like, dude, if you had the opportunity to eat a $500,000 steak, why not?
I mean, if it's being offered.
He's not, though.
No.
That didn't stop CNN and Paul Begala. Is that how you say it? Begala?
Begala.
He was roasting Pete Hegseth because he was buying food for the troops. Luckily, Scott Jennings was there.
He has spent $15 million in 1 month for ribeye steaks, $6.9 million for lobster tail, $225 million for furniture. He spent more in the month of September than most countries on earth spend in their defense.
Paul, do you believe
all
do you
for
believe,
himself? Lobster tails?
Do you believe
while our troops are eating MREs?
No. Do you believe the Secretary of Defense is personally eating all the lobster?
Well, he
It's
can't
for
eat
the
16.
Troops.
Oh, really? The troops are getting lobster.
Frequently.
Brothers Defect has steak and lobster.
How's your steak and lobster? All right, damn near decent.
It cuts to a video of the troops overseas eating steak and lobster. You know what I noticed is missing from the video? Pete Hegseth. Actually, it's just the troops eating steak and lobster.
I'm ready for war.
That one guy said, "I'm ready for war now."
My God.
Troops who are going to war.
Oh, my God.
Great meal. You know that.
They're
You
getting
know
lobster.
that.
You are so
You're gonna
full
get
of it.
killed over this.
You are
You're
so
gonna get
full
killed
of
over
it.
this. Internet, do something.
The internet did do something, and the internet provided plenty of receipts. Just to point out, just real quick, the guy who's making the case that Hegseth is misappropriating millions of dollars of ribeye and lobster tail, he actually advised world leaders at one time. He was an advisor to presidents. Is he actually this dumb? Inquiring minds would like to know. This is a man that was lovingly referred to by El Rushbo as the forehead. I don't know why they would call him that. I have no idea.
It's a mystery.
It's more of a 5-head than a 4-head.
I could fit 6 fingers on that. Just a full palm.
I mean, yeah. I could see why. El Rushbo. This is the case he's making. Now, meanwhile, the troops are providing plenty of receipts like this one.
Ta-da! Steak, Capri salad, asparagus underneath, garlic bread that I already been into, lobster, hush puppies, a baked potato under this.
How much did Pete Hegseth pay you to make that video? This is propaganda from Pete Hegseth. It has to be. All right. So that's a non-controversy, in case you're keeping score at home. More fake news being pushed by CNN. Pete Hegseth spends millions of dollars on ribeye and lobster tail for himself. The horror. The absolute horror.
Steak. That's pretty good. Capri salad. So good. Asparagus. Okay. Baked potato. Let's try a piece. Lobster.
Everybody knows this is long-standing military tradition. Nikki in the borough is a Navy vet. You can co-sign that, right? Long-standing military tradition.
Yes, Chris. I was in the Navy from 2011 to 2016, and every time we deployed or there was a war and we knew we were going to get some action, the captain would serve steak and lobster, and everybody would sit down and go, uh-oh, because that means something is going to happen.
Yeah. You're almost not excited for the steak and lobster.
Right, exactly. So, and it's not like top quality steak and lobster, so if they're getting better stuff now, that's awesome.
And that's what I'm saying. It feels like a non-controversy, right, Nikki?
Right,
Yep.
absolutely.
Hey, I appreciate your call, and thank you for your service. Call back to the show anytime you would like. That was Nikki in the borough, Navy vet. Long-standing tradition. CNN's very upset.
Very upset. Disappointed.
They love tradition when it's like, we can't have the Republicans nuke the filibuster. We got to worry about tradition.
Yeah.
Tradition is only good when it's able to be used as a weapon, right? Otherwise, forget tradition. All right, got another show for you here in the lightning round.
Another one.
Another one. All right, here's what we're going to do in this one. I have this story, okay? And I want to play this audio for you. And then I want to then tell you what the girls did. Okay? These are two girls in the back seat of a squad car, and they got handcuffs on, and they're talking about what they're going to do at the police station and hoping that they look good in their mugshots. Okay?
Oh, you trying to look good for your mugshot?
Oh, gonna get a mugshot?
What, we're going to jail? What do you think?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Dude, I was gonna do my makeup this morning for the mugshot, but I couldn't find anything.
I'm glad I don't actually look too bad today.
I look horrible. It's over. Dude, they had me sitting there, and I was so... Dude, they took away my chocolate. No! I was able to eat, like, a part of it, like a part of the big bar. Oh, my God. But then that's it.
Wait, they went this far?
No, they're going to go this far. My mom's going to be yelling at me through the phone. What are you doing? Why are you trying to kill this kid? Dude, I thought I was going to get sent to the psych ward. That's why I was so excited about everything. You think I would be so jolly if I was going to jail?
Very jolly. These two girls are in the backseat of a squad car because they were arrested for a school murder plot. As they gleefully laugh about looking good in their mugshots. Horrific. Absolutely horrific. Pair of Florida teens allegedly plotted to savagely kill a classmate, caught on camera in the backseat of the squad car, joking about the murder and discussing how good they would look in their mugshots shortly after the arrest. Spoiler alert, if you're not watching on Super Talk TV, no amount of makeup in the world is going to make either of these girls look good in their mugshots. Lois Lippert, 14, and Isabella Valdez, 15, reportedly wanted to resurrect the Sandy Hook school shooting, captured in footage laughing and making wisecracks in the back of a cop car in January. The New York Post just retrieved this audio. Valdez, who inexplicably went by the name Jimmy, tells her best friend she had wanted to wear makeup to look attractive in her mugshot, but couldn't find any that morning. Valdez replied, "At least they'll see me in the mugshot some way or the other," suggesting that they would become famous in the true crime community. The teens were also caught cracking cringy jokes about becoming a lesbian couple, according to the reports. Lippert replied, "Yeah, you can be the butch." Valdez laughed and quipped, "Stay away." They were arrested on January 22nd after a tipster allegedly snitched on them and their plans to murder a classmate at Lake Brantley High School in Florida. Court documents filed this month show that Valdez was obsessed with the Sandy Hook shooter Adam Lanza and was inspired by his 2012 shooting. Said it was learned that the victim reminded them of Adam Lanza, and she believed that if she killed the victim, she would have a blood bond with Adam Lanza, which would resurrect him from the dead. Absolutely insane. You know where they were on social media? Discord. Your kids should not be on social media. They shouldn't. Any loving parent is not allowing their kids on social media. What is happening in this country? Vile. Absolutely vile. All right. Pray for the book to be thrown at those two lunatics. Got another story for you here in the lightning round. Joe Rogan doing a bit too much noticing. Hey, did you catch this? I don't watch Joe Rogan's show all the time. I'll watch it if he has a good guest on, but like 3 hours is a heck of an investment. But I saw this clip going viral, and it's Joe, and he's noticing a bit too much.
A thing when an all-white country wants to stay all-white, where people get very nervous of. If you have, let's say China. Like, China is Chinese people. We all agree that it's filled primarily with Chinese people. Yeah. There's people that live there from all walks of life, all over the world, but it's mostly Chinese people. If China had decided that they wanted to remain Chinese and stay Chinese, and that being Chinese is very important to what China is, no one would have a problem with that.
Yeah.
When a country like Poland does it, you're like, oh, those white people, they want to keep everybody out. They want it to be all white.
Yeah, and
because that's post-World War II. That's post-Aryan race talk. That's post-Nazi stuff. That's what people are legitimately freaked out about. That's the most recent stain in our history where we look back and say, wow.
It's the religion of Holocaustianity. And it has been built up over decades to make it so that way white people are allowed to be demonized but never allowed to advocate for their own rights. But when you notice a big-time podcaster like Joe Rogan noticing, this thought process is hitting critical mass. And I think it's a good thing. I don't think that you should be ashamed of being white. It's okay. I don't know if you knew this. It's okay to be white. That might be the most controversial thing I've said on the air since I took the show a couple years ago. So it's okay to be white. 11:52 Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here for my friends at the Glock Store. I'm so excited, man. We are going to be doing the Force on Force simunition tomorrow. And Matt Murphy sent a video. Well, not Matt Murphy, but the Glock Store guy sent me the video of Matt Murphy doing it. And I'm even more excited now than I was before. They always have the best training over at the Glock Store. They have the one-on-one instruction, the private Shoot 270 indoor ranges, private shooting rooms, low light, no light drills. But the Force on Force simunition exercise is taking things to a whole nother level. I'm going to be doing it tomorrow. I'll let you know how it goes after the show. But it starts to the public on March 21st. In Force on Force, you're thrust into a simulated situation where deadly force may well be necessary to save your life or a loved one's life. And you're armed with a Glock 17T. This is the same Glock that's used to train SWAT and U.S. Special Forces. You're testing your reflexes in real time, your marksmanship, making split-second decisions in a realistic life-or-death action simulation. Now, to find out more, you go to shoot270.com. You click on training, then classes. That's shoot270.com. Training, then classes, and then grab your slot. They're going fast for the March 21st debut. I'm going to be trying it on Friday. I can't wait to try it, and I can't wait to tell you all about it. Force on Force training only at Shoot 270, only at the Glock Store. If it were any more real, blood would be spilling. Glockstore.com. 11:58, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? It's Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by our friends at Better Water LLC. We got Ken Weaver in the newsroom. We got Mason Fleming producing. Chad Benson's in studio. What's up, dude? How are you?
What's up, man?
What stories you paying attention to today?
Talk a little bit, I guess, about...
Does it feel like Groundhog's Day to you, too?
Yeah.
I came in today and, like, even last night, my wife's like, how's show prep going? I'm like, it just feels like it's the same thing. Like, I mean, there's developments, but it's like
the same stuff every
my
day.
shows have been Iran Save Act.
Yeah.
Like a lot.
That's like we might talk a little bit about Iran. We're going to talk about the CVS bill here. And they're just, oh my God, oh goodness me, CVS. We're going to talk a little bit about that. Taxes. Finally, downtown claimed the Pelican and the pig. Guys closing up. It's like, I can't afford it. We decided we're going to close up shop. Hey, but you know what, Freddie? Every once in a while, some businesses work and some don't. And that place is going to be solid for a Chili's.
You know, who doesn't like a good Chili's?
Who doesn't? I'm not saying anything about Chili's, but I don't go to Nashville to go to Chili's.
When I want Cisco for lunch, I like it in the Chili's variation.
Oh.
You know?
Oh, look at that.
I
Right?
do.
You're going to be able to get into Chili's, like a Chili's Nashville with like a cowboy hat and then maybe like a boot.
I like that.
There you go.
I'm going to get Chili's tattooed on me. It's a brand deal we're working on.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, it's gonna
solid
be,
brand
it's
deal
gonna
right
be
there.
Sick.
I get all the chips, it's bottomless chips and salsa whenever I go
It's going to
there.
be right on my butt cheek. It's going to say sponsored by Chili's.
That'd be awesome.
What are you talking about? Iran, the Save Act. What else you got?
We got some fun stuff. The craziness in LA about the hospice stuff. I've been following that big time. The amount, if you think that the stuff out in Minneapolis was crazy.
Well, they were getting money for hospice, and then people were like, you know, I'm actually feeling pretty good. I'm gonna head home. I was like, what? That's not how this works. Chad's in next. It's 12 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.